Welcome to Quick Flicks. There's been a running joke in Hollywood and in film groups that once the nostalgia sponge for the 80s has been squeezed dry, companies will look to revamp properties from the 90s and early 2000s. And now we're looking to the Netflix Nickelodeon collaborations. And first up, the film follows Dim Membrane, who has been obsessing over finding Zim, an alien who has been hiding for years. But once he turns back up, Dim gets back in shape, but Zim has something up his sleeve, and it's up to Dim to save the Earth from a giant Florpus hole. I really enjoy this film very much. As someone who is a fan of the original source material, it is nice to see such love and attention go into the making of the film. Everything from the writing to the animation, sound, and character design, it all feels like they were lovingly crafted as if it was from the original creator, which it was. There isn't a single thing that felt out of place, and I enjoyed it for being what it is, an Invader Zim movie. However, if it's one small thing to point out, is that it's not really a film. It's more like an elongated episode of the show, mostly because it just isn't very definitive at all, as nothing really kind of concludes. Everything goes back to the status quo as if it was an elongated episode of the show, which isn't necessarily bad. Still, the fact that we finally got an Invader Zim movie that doesn't try to modernize it or find a new angle on the source material, unlike Lion King 2019, is astounding. It's familiar in all the right places, the writing at times is over the top and hilarious, it all just feels right. I'm going to give Invader Zim Enter the Florpus a B+. But of course, this wasn't the only thing Netflix and Nickelodeon have collaborated on recently, presenting... The film follows Rocco, Filbert, and Heifer 20 years after the events of the series finale of the show. The gang returns to Earth after being lost in space. They find that they're not in the 90s anymore, and find that everything has changed, not just technology, but everything they ever knew. TV shows, their work life, their relationships to other characters. When the gang's favorite show is not to be found, it's up to Rocco and an old acquaintance or two to reboot the show. To clarify, I've never watched a single episode of this particular show, so I'm just judging this as a film. Technically, it's a short film as it only lasts 45 minutes. With that being said, I really enjoyed this film as well. Much like Enter the Florpus, I appreciate the art style that is kept intact with a few little touch-ups and polish. But unlike Florpus, the film takes a more meta approach to its special. The film makes comments about how corporations utilize popular IPs to bring back money to the company. In most situations, however, these products are soulless and usually are made for less money without the approval or consultation of the original creators. There are other bits of commentary that I either found amusing or basic. Most of it concerns social media. There's a news headline in the film that pretty much sums it up. 90s cartoon solves problems. The film is funny to watch at times, with some of the commentary getting laughs from me. One of the biggest ones is a point in how animation has changed from the hand-drawn animation to computer animation. I do have to point out that the film got into some trouble with some groups over the film's inclusion of a transgender character in the principal cast, more specifically the creator of the Big Heads cartoon the gang watches. I view this inclusion to actually be really cool, especially because this kind of thing happens with certain creative people like the Wachowskis, whom over the years transitioned from male to female. This also ties into the film's message of change. Not only has society changed, but practices and businesses and how big media giants take advantage of nostalgia-fueled fans, and how even gender norms have now changed, and how people, especially for those close to transgender children, should just go with the flow of change. It is also interesting to point out that this film also makes a clear connection between rose-tinted glass-wearing fans and conservatives who are also similar. They want things to be the same from the past and not have any sort of change. But they are both told that, they fail to live in the present and they are kind of clinging to the past. In closing, this special episode of the show feels like it has more thought put into it in terms of the themes and story than most returns to their worlds. I enjoyed the energy and feeling of the story, and I'd highly recommend this one as well, especially if you are a fan of the original source material, unlike myself. Rocko's Modern Life Static Clean gets an A-. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening in to my review. Please like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.